What's up, weirdos? We are back in my garden for another garden tour. I think this is going to be a more comprehensive garden tour. I want to show you everything that's in here. Today's date is June 15th or 16th. I can't remember. I think it's June 15th, 2020. And yeah, mid-June. Can't believe it's mid-June already. But things are looking pretty good. Everything's looking pretty good except for my goji berries. They're looking a little yellow, but everything else is doing really well. You can see we have a pod of mint here. It's coming along nicely, and I don't really have to do much with that. I just kind of let it grow. The lettuce, we've been picking a lot of this over the last few weeks, but you can see it's definitely starting to get picked over a bit. It hasn't bolted yet, which is really good. The kale is doing just fine. Spinach is bolting, so I'm going to probably pull the rest of this. I might replant this at some point. I might wait a little bit before I plant more spinach. Maybe wait till August, because you plant it in the middle of the summer, it's going to have a hard time. I do have a little bit more spinach here, though. As you can see, there's one row of it right there. It's coming up now. We can probably start harvesting that. And again, more lettuce in here, different types. I don't know what kind this is. It looks like some kind of oak leaf lettuce. It was from a packet from last year. It was just a bunch of random lettuces, like a lettuce mix basically, and that's what came up from last year. Again, this is the Pierrot Butterhead lettuce, and then that is Waldman's beside it. And then again, more lettuce in here. I did have to replant a couple of these rows. I just planted this row yesterday, so that'll come up within the week. And then I have this whole bed over here that I've just been kind of weeding here and there, and we're gonna plant more lettuce in there, maybe even some spinach in another month or so. And then again, the big garden, as you can see, the fenced garden, it has a bunch of marigolds around it, and it's looking pretty nice. I did finish the wood chips here to the end. If you watch some of my past videos, it ended pretty much here where this onion is. And then I just kind of added some more. I did order some more. Friend who he owns a tree removal business, and he needs a place to dump all his wood chips. So I said, no, you can dump some of them here. So we're gonna get more wood chips. That's how I got all these. Doesn't cost anything, so it's really nice, and it is good stuff. And then if you let them sit for a few years, it'll actually decompose into really nice compost, and that's what I filled my raised beds with, all this compost. This is all tree compost. So doing really nice, and the tomatoes are doing really good. As you can see, these are brandywines. I have some marigolds in there, onions. The persimmons are doing really well. I tied these up. I think I'm gonna have to tie them again because they're really growing. I'd say they probably got 20-30% larger in 1 week. It's just amazing. And then potatoes that I didn't plant, they came up from last year. So we're going to harvest those here in another month, and then plant some broccoli in these two beds. Beets and carrots are really coming along. The beets are probably about, I would say, 1 inch across. So they still need some time. I don't know how big these ones get. I think one of them, I have two different types in here. I think I have just a regular beet and then one that's kind of skinny. So not sure which one's which, so we're just gonna have to kind of pay attention and see if they look like they're ready to harvest. And then the carrots in here as well. You can see the carrots, they take all year, so it's gonna be a little bit before we harvest anything from that. The zucchinis, as you can see, I have one of my zucchinis that I planted from seed, Castrato Romanesco, and then these are all a golden zucchini, and you can see there are a few on there. Gonna be another week before we can start picking. And then beans, green beans. These are Vortex. They're a French heirloom. They're long and skinny and kind of nutty. Really, really good beans. Banana peppers in here, doing really well. No issues. I got some basil in there with the beans. Again, goji berries, they are turning a little yellow. I think that they're too acidic. This pot might be too acidic, so I did order some lime. Still waiting for that to come in, but once it comes in, I'll add a little bit in there and see if that does the trick. I also ordered some azomite rock dust, so maybe add that in with everything. It's going to be a nice little fertilizer on top of the fertilizer that I already give these plants. And then again, lemon balm that came back. It was looking pretty dead for probably up until a couple weeks ago, and then it's really kind of taken off here the last couple weeks. And then I planted some more cucumbers in here. These are just a regular market more cucumber. Peas in here with some beans that I planted because the peas didn't come up. Nasturtium that looks really nice. Look at that, very pretty. You can actually eat these. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the flowers. I haven't, but some people do. And again, more cucumbers. These are, I forget what these are. I think they're like some early cucumber. And then peas in here. These are the peas that survived the 24-degree temperatures, or maybe even lower than that. I don't know. It got pretty cold here about a month ago. And more potatoes that are starting to flower. Some of them are getting a little blighty on the bottom, so I don't know. I might just pick that off. You never know. I don't want to deal with blight. I've already dealt with that a lot over the years. It hasn't been an issue this year because it's been pretty dry this year, which is really amazing because the last few years, the last 5 or 6 years have been really wet. And it's been tough to grow tomatoes, but this year has been pretty good to me so far. And then chamomile here, which I'm going to start harvesting here in probably a few days. Looks like it's about ready, so we can go ahead and... All you got to do to pick these, you just pop them off like that, put them on a paper plate. Well, wash them first, put them on a paper plate, and then just kind of let them sit for a few days, maybe a week, and then you can use that into your tea. And it's really good, and it's really strong. So if you like strong chamomile, that's the way to do it. Purple coneflower, the Echinacea, it's starting to flower almost. It didn't flower last year, so this is its second year, so I think we're going to get some flowers. It looks like we got some snipe flies on there. Yeah, I don't think they do any damage, so I'm not too worried about them. Catnip. And, oh yeah, this is our little garden gnome. He is the guardian garden gnome, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, very, very cute. I got him off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. And then this is the Marsh Mallow plant. Some squash in here. These are spaghetti squash. Got some kohlrabi in here as well. And something else in here. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's maybe chard or something else, but it is different from the kohlrabi. It's definitely different. And then this is either a carrot or it's Queen Anne's lace. We're going to find out very soon. And if it's Queen Anne's lace, it's coming out. I am not going to deal with that in here. Marvel of Venice beans. They are a yellow Romano bean. Looking really nice. Can't wait to try those. And then these are more tomatoes. These are brandywines and persimmons. So big tomatoes. And then these are also big tomatoes. Cherokee purples. And these are gold medal. These ones are mine that I started. The rest are from nurseries. These ones right here are from a nursery, and these ones too. This is borage, and it is really coming up nicely. There's actually some borage over here that just started coming up randomly. If I can find it, here it is. This was from last year. You can see some borage coming up in here. I have some more over there too. So yeah, garden is looking pretty good. These are more Vortex pole beans. More onions in here. Got more potatoes in here. These were from March, I think. I started these in March. More lemon balm. This is a Kellogg's breakfast tomato right there. Very nice. I got to tie that up. I got to tie the rest of these cherry tomatoes up too. And yeah, the bell peppers are looking good. Yeah, I was a little bit worried because I planted them next to these peas and they're really shading them out. But they look like they're doing just fine. The ones that are close to the peas, they don't look much different from the ones that are out here a little bit further. So I think they're going to be okay. Basil, we've been picking basil. We've been making pesto. Probably gonna have to pick some more because it is starting to flower. And then these peas are starting to produce, so that is really nice. I've been picking here the last, I don't know, 3-4 days or so. Getting lots of peas. Looking really good. These are probably, oh, some of these are close to 6 feet tall because I'm 6 feet. And that one right there is about as tall as me. So yeah, they're getting pretty tall. And then these are the shell peas, and you can see these are producing as well. It's going to be a little bit before we can start picking them. But they look very nice. They look very delicious. These ones you have to actually shell them. You have to pull out the peas and eat them because the the pea pods are a little bit they're a little tough. Just a little bit. Bee balm in here. I have some more bee balm in there with the borage and tomatoes. This is Zeppelin Delicata squash. Never tried it before, so I'm giving it a shot. More marigolds, looking really good. Some tomatoes that came up from last year. We call those volunteers. And again, more potatoes in here. All these pots are pretty much potatoes, except for these ones. These are raspberries. And we had some last year, and they were delicious. These ones, we've got to give them some time. But I think they're going to be pretty good. I want to actually get a patch of raspberries growing. But I want to get rid of these wild ones first, because the wild ones can kind of cause disease for these certain cultivars, all the domestic ones. They can be a problem for domestic raspberries, so got to pull out the wild ones first. But the wild ones are good to rely on. You know, if you absolutely needed them in a survival situation, you could count on wild raspberries. And we do have a lot on our property, so I'm not worried about taking a few of these out. These are cherry tomatoes, Matt's Wild Cherry. I have some Golden Nugget in here, and also some black cherry. So they're doing pretty good. They're growing. This one's growing right up this stake right here, and I haven't even tied it yet. So that's looking good. And again, a lot more peas. We got lots and lots of peas. My goal is to come out here every day and just eat peas for breakfast. Oh, we got some jewelweed here. Look at this. See this old guy? This is jewelweed. You don't want it in there. You go ahead and toss them out here. I don't care. You can die. There's plenty of it around here. And again, yeah, goji berries, pretty yellow. More potatoes. The strawberries are starting to produce. So you can see we got a little strawberry here. It looks really nice. Very pretty. And we got more over here. These are they're kind of citrusy. From what I've noticed eating these, they're a little bit citrusy. They're very tiny, so not your traditional strawberry, but still really good. Got a nice flavor. I'm gonna definitely grow more. And then the onions, again, still waiting on those seeds. I think it's gonna take a while for that. But yeah, let's head over to the Overflow Garden, and then I want to hit the food forest real quick. Go ahead and close this up. I don't want any groundhogs or whatever getting in there. Yeah, I don't like the groundhogs. Been dealing with baby bunnies running around my Overflow Garden. You can see I'm watering it right now. So this row right here is tomatoes, and they are definitely doing pretty good. Again, we got some marigolds in here. I always like to put marigolds in my garden because it does help keep some of the bugs away. It does help keep some of the pests away. But yeah, most of these are paste tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. That's a black cherry right there. It looks pretty nice. There's one that's really come along nice, the Matt's Wild Cherry. And these ones, they put out a lot of stems here at the bottom, a lot of branches down at the bottom of the plant. I guess it's so they can kind of bush out a little bit and vine out. And what you'll see is these branches will actually form roots. And so they'll actually kind of just drag themselves along the ground, and that's how they, I guess, stabilize in the wind and everything. And that's how a tomato would normally grow in the wild. A lot of people pick those off to try to keep the blight away. And you know, tomatoes are going to get blight usually. There's nothing you can really do, but it definitely helps keep the blight away a little bit because it gives it a little more air circulation down below the plants. I think I might probably do that for most of these, but I don't want to go crazy because those ones in there, those are the main tomatoes, but these were just extras, and I had a lot of extras this year. A lot of extras. And peppers, again, I've never grown peppers in a row. I've usually always grow them in blocks, but they seem to be doing just fine. Most of these are bell peppers. There's a few bananas in here, but I think most of them are bells. I think they're mostly red bells. And then we have some tomatoes that start down here. I'm not exactly sure what these are. Peron sprayless. Yeah, they're I think they're from South America. And they're called sprayless because they never had to spray them because they're just naturally immune to pests and stuff. I replanted all the squash that was down here because it never came up, so I replanted it. Sunflowers are looking good. they are following the sun right now. It is straight up in the sky right now, midday. And some sunflowers that my mom accidentally pulled out when she was weeding, so I had to replant them. I think they'll do a little bit better because they were pretty close to that one. So yeah, another marigold, more marigolds. I replanted some of these beans. These are Jacob's cattle beans. I did that yesterday, so it'll be a little bit before they come up. These are cannellinis. Most of these didn't come up. I only had a few come up. So everywhere that's not cannellini beans, I planted some Jacob's cattle beans. And then we have watermelons, and they are definitely taking off. Definitely looking good. Yeah, this is definitely better than what I used to do, was just plant them in the ground. You can see I have one down here that's planted in the ground. It was a little bit smaller than these when I planted it, but it's definitely a lot smaller than these guys. They definitely like the mounds. So definitely mound your watermelons, guys. Nasturtiums in here as well. I got more peppers down here. These are banana peppers. They're kind of tiny. Again, most of these were really dinky whenever I planted them earlier in the year. And then more tomatoes down here. Most of these down here are Kellogg's Breakfast because I had a bunch of those. I wanted to try it. I was like, oh, it's a big orange tomato. I want to give it a shot. And now I have way too many. It always happens. I always plant more than I need. Again, yeah, watermelons. This over here, remember I thought this was a zucchini? That's a watermelon. It must have found its way into the compost pile from previous years. Who knows what it is? It could be anything. I'm going to let it grow, and it's going to be a surprise at the end of the year. And more Jacob's cattle beans planted in here. I'm just getting them watered a little bit. Zucchinis. These are the gold zucchinis. I got a lot of them, and they are starting to produce as well. You can see lots of little fruits on them. Looks very nice. This was the really dinky one that we planted, and it's looking better. And then these are some that I started from seed. These are the Castrato Romanesco, and this is ragweed. I gotta pull that. I don't like the ragweed in the garden. Nope, don't like it. And again, more tomatoes along here, all different kinds. Arkansas Traveler, I see that in there. I think there's some more gold medal in here. Some beefsteaks in here as well. Looking really good. No issues with them. I haven't had any plants get eaten yet, so that's good. And then the marshmallows right here, looking really good. Don't have to do anything with that ever. And then this is the food forest. And you can see the elderberry is starting to flower, as well as the gooseberries. We do have some gooseberries on it, just a couple though. Looking really good. That's the only one that I see on there. I thought I saw another one before. They are looking better than they were earlier this year. They were really lime green, and now they're kind of a little bit darker. So we'll see. I don't think they like the full sun. And then again, the elderberries, they are flowering, looking really good. We'll see what happens this year. I've never grown them before. This is the second year we've had them, and the first year that they flowered, so that's nice. And remember, from last year, I planted a mulberry tree that I thought was dead. It is not dead. There's a branch on it. So we're actually going to get a mulberry tree right here, which I thought was completely dead, but it is not dead. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. Currants over here. I don't know if this peach or apricot tree is dead. It probably is, but yeah, and more currants. And then we have apples. Yes, we have little apples starting to form on here. Look at that. Look at that. I might pick some of these off. I think there's probably going to be way more than this tree can handle. I see 1, 2, actually 3. It might be all right. Maybe just 3 or 4 apples on here. So not too bad, but yeah, looking pretty good. So looking forward to that later this fall. And then this one doesn't have any apples on it yet. This one, no apples yet, but it's looking better than it did before. This is the Empire. That is Pink Lady, and that one over there is Honeycrisp. And then over here, the autumn olive. It looks like there's some wild autumn olives over in there. So yeah, looks pretty nice. We might have to make some autumn olive pie or whatever, I don't know, later in the fall. And then more currants. Currants are doing well. I think I'm gonna get a nut tree and plant it over here. I haven't decided yet. Maybe like a chestnut or a hazelnut, something like that. Plant it in this corner, and then yeah, maybe replant these mulberries. I have some mulberry trees on the property that they produce every year, so I might take some cuttings from them and try them, because these ones, I got these shipped from like California or something, so they didn't really do so well. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. We got a lot covered, and again, it's looking pretty good. Again, that ash tree, if you missed the video of the ash tree, I did transplant an ash tree from over there, and it is now way over there by the road. You can kind of see it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but it's over there by that giant bush over there. Anyway, I transplanted that, and this whole section over here, I'm going to go ahead and start ripping that out and building some raised beds over there. So that is the next big project for the summer. And again, everything looking pretty good. Everything looking healthy. Haven't really had any pests. So far so good. The weather's been good, so crossing my fingers for the rest of the summer. I think that is a good place to leave off. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I do gardening videos, I do gaming videos, and other fun videos eventually. I plan on doing lots of weird, crazy, and cool videos. And oh, there's a deer over there. What are you doing, deer? What are you doing? Stay away from my garden. Yeah, there's a deer over there. All right, well, we'll leave it there. Goodbye.